It is the Matt Mosley Show. I want to welcome everybody in. We had, golly, even Friday's show. We had a large group out there. We now have more to react to. Bears lose 55-28 to the Utah Utes. The Utes of America came to town. They saw the Bears defense. They liked what they saw. And Scotty, what you want to do against this Bears defense, you just first of all, Dave tells us after the game the other night, well, we stayed in quarters. We stayed in quarters the entire game. I don't know what you did the entire game. It wasn't working. You might have tried to do something else. We ran the same thing the entire game is what Dave said. Just didn't execute it. Well, what did Utah do to the old Bears? Well, let's see. A freshman quarterback by the name of, you think I would never forget this kid's name, and I've already tried to lose it. It was like, anyway, Scotty, number 15. Let's call him number 15. All right. He will always be in our minds, sadly, just him racing up and down the field. So what was it he was doing? What was it this young freshman quarterback? And by the way, had they never played him before? Had Utah never they have a package for him every game? Oh, okay. All right. So they've been playing him since like the second or third game of this season. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that's right. Scotty, basically, it looks like Wildcat. It's not Wildcat because he's actually a quarterback. He could throw the ball against you if you don't watch it. And they'd run a little motion, He'd fake a handoff, but he wasn't going to hand it to anybody because he was in there to run the football. And then you would see him go racing down the field. Scotty, these are numbers I don't even have to look up. These just have them off the top of my head. 6 carries, 166 yards, about 27 yards a carry. 27 yards carry for the young man. Slides up, slices and dices the old Bears. And his name was like, oh man. Anyway, their starter was Dampier. Like, well, what do we think Dampier's going to do in this game? Well, Dampier, he was fine. He could have run for anything he wanted to. But this freshman lit up the Bears. What did Baylor do? Man, early on, by the way, the defense was first couple of possessions, Utah couldn't do anything. Bears are getting off the field. Excitement. LeVar Thornton Jr. making plays on the ball over there. I'm like, hey, maybe they got something. Maybe they have something. Scotty, I will say before we get into what's happening, I have had a lot of conversations. I think I can kind of provide some timetables. We're starting to hear names for possible ADs. No, nobody's been fired. But it does look like Baylor will probably move on from Mack Rhoades. That does, at this point, feel inevitable. So we'll see where this thing is going. We know the names that are being mentioned. They are rather obvious names. They're good names. If they're obvious, sometimes that means maybe they're right. All right. One of them has my same last name, and I've gotten to know him over the years. Had him on my show. Used to have him on my old radio show. He would be great. One of the guys, by the way, might be watching right now, so better watch what I say. But the former Baylor deputy athletic director, Jeremiah Dickey, remains a great friend of mine. And let me tell you where I think Jeremiah is right now. He is trying to be a friend, probably, and his mentor, Mack Rhoades, is hurting and going through some personal stuff, and his family is, and all of that. And so I really think Jeremiah that's where his headspace is right now. Other than being the AD at Boise State, that takes up a lot of space. I will also tell you that Jeremiah Dickey loves Baylor. And if you had a situation where Baylor was hurting and Baylor needed help, and Baylor's going to have to maybe hire a new football coach, if you don't think Jeremiah Dickey could hit the ground running, you hadn't paid any attention. Now, the guy at UNT, Jared Mosley, who I really, really like. Now, what are some of the good things about him? Well, let's see. They have a great quarterback at UNT. Oh, they have a great head coach at UNT. Oh, they have a really good AD. Oh, they might go to the college football playoff. They're like one spot maybe behind James Madison. These guys did they get ranked, Scotty? Did I see that? UNT ranked 25th in the country, one spot behind James Madison. Scotty, you may have this for a Campus Confidential. We can mostly save it for that. But join me for a second. Let me introduce our audience to the young man known as Scotty Swingler. Okay, sorry, Scotty. I was thinking Scotty may be still putting something together, which you are. But Scotty, great to have you. Great to have Sailor Bear. I thought we had a lot of Sailor Bears running around the set the other day. Pearson, who was playing the role of like kind of like a floor, they call that the floor director or something. He was doing some stuff on site. We had the beautiful truck out there for a green and gold game day. I mean, Pearson was making himself comfortable on the floor. I thought, Scotty, I had you voted as like almost maybe the MVP of that group. Now, you came on at 3 o'clock the other day. Faith and I took over at 4 o'clock on the set. And I thought we had some good moments. And I thought everything went fairly well. But we had some heavy winds blew in. Same winds that were blowing around that who was missing field goals and extra points and stuff yesterday? Where was I?
Connor Martin had a rare miss.
For who? Who does Connor Martin play for?
For Baylor. Am I thinking of an old kicker? I'm thinking of an old kicker. Connor Hawkins. Connor Martin was a former kicker for Baylor.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking of NFL. Somebody got no, I know, but I know what you're talking about. But I was thinking of NFL when I brought that up. We had heavy winds at McLean the other night. That did happen. But I started thinking yesterday, somebody did this ridiculous celebration. Oh, it was a Sunday night game I was watching. And Jamison Williams for the Lions catches a touchdown and goes and does, and it was kind of funny, but it got him unsportsmanlike penalty. He jumped. No, Scotty, you're always better at some of this, like movie stuff or whatever he was doing. One guy got in trouble for doing that Key and Peele stunt sketch where he was doing too many pumps.
Yep.
It was very funny, but he got in trouble. This guy straddles the goalpost, and then he slid down the goalpost. I got to say, the visual was very funny. Have you seen this, Scotty?
No, I'm going to have to find it.
Oh, no. We need to show our audience. So last night, it's six. So the Lions end up losing that game to the Eagles 16-9. Jamison Williams catches a touchdown. And so the bad part was they're playing in Philly and the wind is whipping like crazy. And so the extra point gets to it gets kicked up to 48 yards because of the unsportsmanlike penalty on Jamison Williams, and they miss it. And so it should have been 7-6 at that point, but it was 6-6 because of the goofiness of Jamison Williams. And of course, all they tacked on was like one more field goal. And last night, much like Dave Aranda, Dan Campbell, who's a million times better. I mean, again, no offense to Aranda. I really hope after he's done coaching the Bears that he goes on and finds success. And I do like him. I mean, he's not been good to work with personally with the media because he's just scared of his own shadow. But I do wish him nothing but success moving forward if he's not going to be the Baylor coach anymore. But Dan Campbell is a great football coach. He's great with the media. Dan Campbell has a problem, though, that goes along with something Aranda has. He doesn't know when to take a field goal. And every once in a while, you got to know how a game's going. And you have to go, wait, our defense is playing great. We may need to take a few field goals here. Last night, Scotty, the great Dan Campbell, he went for it 5 times on 4th down. Scotty, you might ask, well, how many times did he get it? At least once or twice, right? Nope. He did not get it on all 5 times. 0 for 5 on 4th down. What have we won, folks? That you lost the game 16-9 because you kept passing upfield. Now, the wind was whipping. If you're out there around the 30 and you're trying to decide what you're going to do, I get it. Maybe you do go for it on 4th and 5 around the 30 or 40-yard line because you can't kick the field goal because that wind is blowing like crazy. And I think that's one of the thoughts. But you can't. When you get down there and you're not converting, it might, and you're in a tight ball game, it might be okay to occasionally take a field goal. In fact, they could have cut it to 13-9. He refused to ever take a field goal, and that was what was happening. So where that all jumped into my head was the fact that on the set the other night, on the Green and Gold Game Day set, like everything was blowing. The wind was blowing our set around. We got this huge new satellite truck, this gorgeous truck, but the lights and the monitor was being blown all around. All right. And Scotty somehow, just shocking that he would have this available. Scotty races to his car, returns with like all these weights. Because I was joking on the broadcast. Of course, I'm no help. I'm just out there like making jokes. I'm just like, hey, wish we had some sandbags or something. It turns out Scotty has these like 30, 40-pound weights that are for this, to weigh down things and not let them fly around. And lo and behold, as he puts all those on our TV set / YouTube set, nothing else blew away. Now, some things that came out of last night, the blowout 55-28, that were good. Scotty, this was good for our show. Like right now, Scotty, because we're premium Twitter, Scotty began the show today with, hey, here we are on the Twitter. And because there's so much controversy happening with Baylor and all that's going on with Baylor, we have a lot of people watching the show. Now, why else might they be watching the show? And by the way, why is my brother-in-law calling me knowing I'm live right now? But anyway, I'll touch base with him. But we got everything in the world happening, and Scotty will of course be reacting as we get any breaking news, or I share with you any of like the timetables of what's going on. The good news the other night was, Scotty, that like as I was making my way around the press box and other areas, people that work for Baylor, people that like high-ranking type people, like they literally were coming up to me saying, man, watching the show, watching the YouTube show, watching the Mosley show. Oh, my gosh, the other day I got on there and then I saw how many people were watching. So I want to remind you, if you're joining us on YouTube today, as we react to a 55-28 trouncing by Utah, you can go subscribe to our YouTube page, our YouTube channel, and subscribe. That's free. Then you can comment, and then you can somebody just did. Scotty's really good at that, by the way. Scotty. And one of the things I do each day is I try to wait till right before the show, and then I try to ask Scotty to do about 17 different things. And the scary thing is he can kind of pull it off. I mean, he really does. But I was praising Scotty for his use of the weights the other night, because it held the set together, and then we were able to. And thank goodness the monitor, which could have easily broken, stayed intact. Because that was quite a timber moment, just watching all that happen. So anyway, I was looking for the man that owns all that equipment the other night. I'm like, where is he? I think he was out there earlier in the day, but it's always great to have our founder out there with us of the Rogue Media Network. And then one of our partners, one of our great partners, Mr. Valade, stopped by. Always great to see his family. Andrew, his son, does some really good work for us. So Rogue is a really cool kind of family environment. All right. I have not always worked at places like that. It's kind of an all hands on deck. And then whatever Kevin is, I don't know if he's part of our family. I mean, he's a man with very long hair that hangs out on the set. But as somebody said, Scotty, somebody that was commenting on our YouTube channel, they said the sarcasm is biting today or something. I don't know. I don't even know what I said that was so sarcastic. Maybe something about the Utah's running game. Pathetic showing by the Bear. So anyway, since I can't ever wrap up a thought, what I'm saying is thank you. Thank you for all you guys watching and wondering, hey, is Mosley going to share something with us? Does he have any breaking news? All that kind of stuff. I mean, the answer is what I have for you today is insight. What I have for you today is like, how quickly could something happen? Okay, so here's what needs to happen. And we'll have Campus Confidential because Scotty's got a lot of fun stuff to share. What we're not going to do this time of year is to go like play by play. I mean, do we want to hear about like, Sawyer's best throws the other night? I mean, he did have some. Do we want to hear about Trigg's best plays? He did have some. I mean, Josh Cameron was unbelievable. Well, no, we're not going to get into maybe the 3 good defensive plays of the night, or what did Utah do? Why did Utah come in and beat Baylor? Well, pretty simple. Like, their head coach is way better. Their coordinators are better. They got a better game plan. They are a better program in like every possible way than Baylor right now from a football program. Like, these things aren't like, oh, Matt, what happened on the third down defense? What happened on third down? What happened? I mean, no, we're not going to come on here and go into some kind. Now, again, are there people that are doing that? Yes. That's one of the reasons I've subscribed to my buddies at Siegmund 365, because like Sam Bradshaw after the game, where we're all like, who's going to be the new AD? Who's going to be the new head coach? Bradshaw's breaking down. Why did Baylor have trouble in the court? Well, you go, well, I'm interested in that stuff. I'm not good at it. I'm not good at breaking down the film and showing you guys now, can I have opinions on how the team played? You bet. You bet. Am I going to go play by play and break all that down and tell you why it didn't work to stop them? No. Am I curious as to why it didn't happen? Yes, I am. And that's why I look at my old friend Sam Bradshaw and go, what is Sam saying about why Baylor? Because you know what I hate, I'm sick of hearing, is that, it was one person's fault. Like, the defense was in great shape, but one person, it was like 111th, right? One guy was out there. Who cares? It shouldn't be up to one guy. You ought to have a defensive line that maybe could step up and make a play on a ball carrier. I made the joke during the game the other night, Scotty, that you know how we do the yards after contact? Well, how could you ever do it? Like what? How could you do it for those Utah players the other night? Because nobody made contact. No defender made contact. Number 15 was just running roughshod. Literally, it looked like some little wingback came in there and they go, and then one play early, Scotty. I mean, on this great Dave Aranda defense, hey guys, the locker room's mad. Our leaders were good. We thought we'd do better. We had a deal. I mean, if the program had any, if they had an AD who was on the scene right now. Now again, Jovan and Cody and all these people, I don't want anybody to get it twisted. I like these people and think they're doing a really good job under the circumstances. But like at LSU or any SEC school, if you watch that mess the other night and then you watched a guy come in and mope around afterwards, he'd be gone. It would be it would be interim coach. You don't wait around. You don't watch these last 2 games. He gone. But Baylor is in a different situation right now. And maybe under the circumstances, maybe you don't really gain. Like, for instance, Scotty, I think Scotty probably and others might say, well, it'd be kind of cool to see like Keenan Hall coach the last couple of games of the season or something like that. Maybe. See what the Bears respond. See what the team would do. Maybe. Do I think Keenan Hall is a candidate for this job? I do not. Do I love Keenan Hall? Yes, I do. Love for him to stay around. Wish he could be part of the next regime if there's going to be one. But right now, there's so much chaos with this Mac thing. It is probably best to let Dave coach out the season, and then you need to be running one of the most efficient and wonderful AD searches ever run. And it needs to happen over the next 2 weeks. It needs to be happening right now. I mean, if we're sitting here on December 13th, like, hey, what's going on? What's everybody doing? Like, you need to have a decision made. I mean, think about that. That's even, Scotty, let's look up when. I don't have this date in my mind. It seems like the signing day is usually like, I don't know. The early signing day is, I remember it was like that one time they lost Novosad. It was right before that bowl game, which might have been like December 20-something or whatever, December 20. I don't know what it is right now. We need to look at it because that plays a role into all this kind of stuff too. Now, who are the names being mentioned right now at AD? Ren Baker. He's at West Virginia. Good dude, great friends with Mac. Good, solid guy. Could be a good fit. He's the most probably experienced of the three. Baylor had a guy named Jeremiah Dickey who was here, who's at Boise State now. I've been open about Jeremiah's a great friend. I mean, he would pop on with us anytime we'd wanted. It would be good for me. It would be good for this show if it was Dickey. Now, he is very close to Mac. He was mentored by Mac. And you go, well, is he too close? Well, somebody made a pretty good point to me. Like, if Baylor was interested in bringing in Jeremiah Dickey, they say, well, all those years Mac was with Jeremiah, he never had any issues. Now, again, is that because Jeremiah helped keep him on track? I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to make that statement, but I'm just saying it is interesting to think that, honestly, a lot of Mac's best moments in his career, he had Dickey kind of as his right-hand man, and he helped bring Dickey up in the business. And by the way, I don't believe that because Mac had an altercation and now Mac has had some kind of personal thing happen that's probably going to end up with him losing his job. I do not believe that Mac, like this thought that, well, will he ever work again? Absolutely he should. When he gets his personal life and everything in order and somebody wants to bring him as a consultant or whatever. I mean, he has a wealth of experience. Why in the world not? If Mac Rhodes, I hope Mac Rhodes is a great comeback story. He's 60 years old. All right. I hope he has an incredible final chapter. I just don't think it's going to be at Baylor. I don't think he does either. Now, I did see somebody say, well, what about, could you, they messed it up with this and maybe they mishandled some things in the past. Maybe you give Mac maybe give Mac a chance. Maybe there's a way. I mean, I get all that. But listen, the thing I keep coming back to is this is chaos. This is a tough time. Not chaos in the sense that day to day, I think Dave and the coaching staff and the administrators are doing everything they can. So it's not chaos in that. I'm just saying you probably need a new head football coach. You need an AD. And the reason I'm acting like Mac's already gone is because he's not available to you during this huge time. Like, what do? You use an interim AD to go make a hire, and then on December 13th, you welcome Mac back into the fold and go, Mac, thanks, man. Good to have you back. We got the new coach, or we made a decision for you. Now you deal with the aftermath of this. No. None of that makes any sense. So anyway, you got to get everything in order. Now, as this show unfolds today, we're going to hear from Aranda from the other night. And then I kind of want to look and I want to see what Aranda had to say this morning. We'll react to some of that. I want to bring Scotty on. I've been trying to give Scotty a break, not a break. There's no break in this, but Scotty was putting a lot of the stuff with his show together as I was speaking in that first, in this first time here, this first period of time. Scotty, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm just tired of it, man. I'm tired of it. I got on Please Bear With Me last night, and I was like, what more do you say at this point? And you kind of said it well earlier, like there's no amount of breaking down football at this point that feels good. I usually love doing that. Not today.
Yeah.
I think the and we're going to do, I know we've got some Dave Presser queued up here, but I think no amount of like, oh man, I didn't see that coming. Like, I'm really surprised. I think I'm tired of hearing that after every single loss. There's just a seeming lack of self-awareness or lack to tell the truth or both. And I'm tired. I'm tired, man. And I agree with what you're saying about Mac and ADs and urgency, the urgency which is required here.
Yeah, I do. And I mean, that kid's name, by the way, Scotty, Bird Ficklin. Bird is the word. Bird Ficklin is what they call him. He's got an actual first name, but he kind of goes by Bird. And BYRD, by the way. And I mean, he might as well have been flying above the whole Baylor defense. Wasn't that just from a press box standpoint, sitting up there? First of all, Scotty, I think sometimes we need to take people in our world, and you were out there, doing all that great TV work and we were doing our thing, but like, what a weird game. Because, and we've had them at Baylor before, and we had that conversation with Pete the other day. The atmosphere leading up to the game was like, oh, dang, all this weird stuff has happened. Mac has stepped down nationally from the CFP. He stepped away on his own accord to be away from the team. Like, I would not mind if like people would have rallied and there was some way of Mac not having to step away and could help Baylor. I mean, like, I wanted him to get a shot at running another search because I was very fascinated and interested in seeing what he would do because he's been through it. He's made good hires in the past. I mean, I was not one of these, like, just fire him now, get a new. I was like, man, let's let Mac have a go at this. And as you brought up the other day, Scotty, he saved I think part of Scott Drew, and I think Scott Drew's brother, and I think Scott Drew's dad, they wanted to go to Kentucky. Now, I think we had two people helping us in that thing, Mac Rhodes and Mrs. Drew and Kelly. Okay. I think we had some major help in keeping Scott Drew. And Scott would never, I mean, not that Scott didn't want to stay. I mean, Scott ended up staying. If he had truly wanted to go, he would have gone. But Scott, probably at age whatever he was, 52 or 53, did wonder, my gosh, it's freaking Kentucky. Like, if we're talking about the number one, like, most elevated, most visible basketball job in America, I'm sorry, I can't. I know UConn has become elevated because of what Danny's done there. But when you talk about blue blood jobs of the blue bloods, that's it. That's number one. And they found a way to keep him here. But, man, Scotty, that the atmosphere the other night was kind of a throwback atmosphere because it was like, you know what I mean? Like, think about that. You didn't have a single conversation where somebody was coming up like, do you think we have a chance tonight? What do you think about Utah? What do you think about
every single person that talked to me around that game was asking what I knew about Mac. They want to know what I know and what Baylor's going to do about it. And that was the only question I was asked as someone who does this. So, yeah, no conversations about football. maybe one or two comments about Coach Aranda, but the focus was anywhere but the players on the field. And then unfortunately the play on the field was nothing worth talking about.
Oh man. Yeah. It's bad. It's bad. Let's Scotty, I tell you what, let's take care of our folks for a minute here. Such incredible partners. Central National Bank. I was thinking about them the other night while we were doing that pregame, and just thinking about their commitment and how they've been so loyal. And then I'm very, very, I think during that broadcast, Scotty, and I didn't want to say this because I wasn't supposed to like tip anybody off, but like during the game the other night, one of their new ads, it has to do with like, it's a very, very cool thing. And they use some incredible Baylor student athletes that was set to roll out. Now, again, Scotty, the reason I'm like, wait, did that happen? Because, with so much uncertainty around Baylor, you're like, but I do think that rolled out the other night. And then I'm excited, Scotty, because soon we'll have that in our own hands and we'll be able to kind of run that and let everybody see that. But that's why I was thinking about Central National Bank. And I was even thinking about our great friend Brian Fonville, one of the big executives over there, because did you know who came into town, Scotty, like last week, unbeknownst to a lot of people? One of the Marsalis. Is it Brantford or what's the what's the famous jazz musician? How do you say their names, Scotty? You know what I'm trying to think of? How do you say their name? Winsalis or whatever? Anyway, they came.
If we were talking about rock and roll music, I'd have your back.
I know, but I know these people in Brantford or Winston, Winsalis. Anyway, they're like very, very famous people, and I'm just drawing a blank all of a sudden. It's Winston Marsalis. I'm sorry, Winton Marsalis. I had it somewhere in my brain. It was misfiring. Winton Marsalis. They're the worst. These guys, these jazz musicians are like considered like the greatest in the country, and they came through town. Winton Marsalis was in town, and because Brian Fonville's such a huge musician and is all in all the orchestras, the Waco orchestras, was in the Golden Wave Band back in the day, all the stuff. Like Brian was connected to all that. And so they did a lecture and then he did a performance. The reason I was so discombobulated because he has a famous brother as well. And so the Marsalis brothers is what I was trying to think of. But anyway, tell you what we'll do. We'll take care of our partners. And then I tell you what, Scotty, let's start reacting. We'll hear from Aranda. And we'll start walking you through what we think is about to happen with Baylor. All of that coming up next.